Now, because 802.1x has validated each supplicant individually, this is a great time to hand out the session keys, isn't it? Because we have individual authentication taking place, we can now hand out what? We can hand out those individual session keys. Now, these session keys are awesome. They are useful for this session only. They're only used for this period of time. So these session keys are distributed as that authentication has been a success. So the Radius server then tells the authenticator then begins to pass out these authentication keys, and now we what? We have encrypted communication because of these session keys. And this is individual encryption. Very, very cool. We have a lot of protection now, and individualized protection for communication. Moreover, these are session keys alone, meaning if this blue key is used during this particular session, if this user logs out, shuts down, comes back three hours later, logs back in, they would be given a different key, let's say pink, at that point. So the keys are not static. We are constantly changing the keys so they are not as vulnerable as other static keys. So we change these mathematical keys that allow us to encrypt and decrypt data so our data is safer. Even if the blue key was compromised during our first session, if we created a new session, that does not necessarily mean that the pink key is now compromised. I'd be very wary because they might be able to reproduce the original steps that they used to decrypt the blue key, but they doesn't automatically give them access to the pink key, as you can see. So, individual keys. But remember, we also have that shared or common key used for multicast or broadcast. How do we get that out to everybody? Let's call this the yellow key. So our yellow key here is for multicast and broadcast with this AP. Well, what we do is we encrypt this shared key using the individual key. So the blue key will actually encrypt the data that contains all the information for the yellow key. The red key will encrypt the data for this yellow key. The green key will encrypt, and then the gold key will encrypt. And then our yellow key has been passed safely through encrypted communication. Very, very awesome process, very secure process, as long as the keys remain encrypted. As we said earlier, because these are individual keys, blue has its own key, red has its own key, green has its own key. When these users are sending and receiving data, only blue and the AP can see information encrypted by the blue key. Red will have no ability to read that data whatsoever. This is the key to individual keys. If we're using a single common shared key, everyone within the wireless LAN would be able to read the data. Okay? So very, very awesome solution here.